Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I have a Marshall Emberton 2 Bluetooth speaker that doesn't work. Okay, let's see what's wrong with it and if we can fix it. Now, what I was told is that it doesn't charge, so I don't know if it actually works. I just know that it doesn't charge. So let's take a look at it. Nice. It's got a nice rubber feel to it. Silicone rubber, whatever that is. The lettering is gold. All right, let's see. Let's try to turn it on and see if it works. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what's in here. It's probably the USB cable. Yeah. Nice. Now this is brand new. Somebody bought it and it doesn't work. So, all right, guys. So I'm going to turn this on and let's see if it connects to my phone here. Okay. That's cool. There it is right there. Connect. Let's see what happens.
Eventually,
I think it may have turned off, okay, because I think I'm supposed to see some bars here to indicate how strong the battery is. Yeah, see, it couldn't connect, okay. And I think what's happening is the battery's dead, all right, because I turn it on. Okay, it goes on, but I'm not seeing any bars here. I think this is a battery indicator. I think. Let's see. Yeah, see, it just shuts off. So let me plug it in and see if we can get it to charge. All right, so I got this cheap 5-volt 1 amp charger here. That's what I have handy right now. Plug it in. And let's see if this thing charges. No lights. All right, let's we got to take this apart and see why it's not charging. I don't know if this is rubber. Could be silicone, but it feels like rubber. It has a nice feel to it though. All right. Kind of smells like rubber. Yeah, might be rubber. Okay, we'll leave that there. Start taking out some of these screws here. Yeah, it's kind of weird. This has that feel to it, like you touch it and your hands get really slick. You see how they're all shiny? The fingers, your fingers get really slick from that. Weird feeling. Anyway, let's try to get these out. I think I should take this out, the screens, because I think there's screws in here. I think I need to take that out first. So let me get that. See, this just pops out. Just, you don't want to go too deep because the speaker's there. All right, and then same thing with this one, but let's work on the top one. This right here is a resonator. It's not a speaker. These are the little speakers. There's one on each side. Same thing on the back side. Oh, those are Phillips. All right, they used Phillips screws here, so let's get these out. All right, and this speaker can come out. Just gotta go in there and push out. There we go. Okay. All right, there's the connector. All right. Nice. All right, looks like we got some screws here now. Let's get those out. And those are not Phillips. Yeah, I don't know why they switched the type of screws. You know, they should just use the same type on the whole thing. But I mean, this thing looks like it's pretty serviceable. Okay, so far it's been easy to take it apart. So unlike the JBL or those you know, the ones that look like tubes, those are a real pain. Okay, but this one looks like it's made to be sort of serviced. Okay. All right, now I know there's a connector here, so see, there's a connector right there. So we gotta pop that out right there, okay? And then there's another one. Oh, okay. We gotta, all right, so we gotta take this speaker out. Same deal here. Should be good. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there's another cable somewhere. Where is it? Ah, the battery cable. All right. All right, there we go. Okay, here's the board. Okay. Here's the other side. And we'll see if we need to do anything with this. Huh, I wonder what this is. That's not connected to anything. Maybe some type of programming connector. All right. All right, let's take the battery out. Oh, here's the USB connector. Maybe we should take that out. Maybe there's something wrong with that. I can actually check. I can measure the voltage on that. We'll do that. All right, let's take the battery out though first. Okay, I think it's just hitting right here because it's got that connector there. I might have to take off the top board. Yeah, let's do that. At least the button seems to be working because I don't know where I would find a button like that. All right, let's get this out. Whoa, okay, there's the battery. All right, yeah, I had to move this out of the way to get to the battery. All right, there's the Bluetooth. Oh, the voltages are labeled here. That's nice. All right, so we can definitely check that. All right, trying to snap these clips off. It's not as easy as it looks. All right, there we go. All right, so yeah, it's two lithium-ion cells. All right, guys, I've stripped down the battery here. Got it all naked, and yeah, it looks like it's just two 18650 cells, and they're wired in series. So you got the positive here going to the negative with this one, so should be like 8.4 volts total, right? So that's probably what this thing runs on. Let's check the voltage. Let's see where they're at. They're probably super low, and that's probably why it keeps shutting off. So let's see. Yeah, I got them backwards, but it's 6.2. Yeah, 6.22. Okay, so 6.22 volts is not enough to run this speaker, and that's why it keeps shutting off. And the question is it a problem with the battery? Okay, or is it a problem with the charging or the charging port? We never checked the charging port. I should have checked that in the beginning. All right, let me put this thing back together so we can do some tests on it. All right, guys, I've got everything back together. Okay, I had to remove this speaker too. and I connected the battery. Let's do some tests on it, okay? I want to plug in the USB, okay, and I want to use my this guy here to see what kind of current it's drawing, to see if the USB port is even working, okay? Because right now all I know is this battery is dying. It's pretty much dead. And is it a bad battery, or is it because this port is not charging it? Okay, that's what we need to find out. So let me plug this stuff in. Let me get set up here, and I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm gonna plug this in, and should be good to go. All right, and let's turn this on because I want to take some more measurements while I'm in there, and just plug in. Oh my God! Look at that! Oh my God! It just fell off. Well, there's the problem. I should have checked that from the start. Wow. All right, let me zoom in on this. There it is, guys. It just came off, okay? And let's see. Yep. Let's see if there's any damage. Looks like the traces are still there. But you can look right here. You can see that the pins stayed in the holes right here. Yeah, they broke off, so I'm gonna have to get a new one. Okay, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find this anywhere because it's got that weird configuration where there's that space in the middle there, and then you got a space here and a space there. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to find one of these. I might have to redesign this board just so I can use a regular USB-C adapter. Wow, unbelievable. All right, and let's see if there's a part number on here. Yeah, there's a part number right there. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can find one of these. Hopefully I can, and we'll pick up the video when I get one. Here's the old USB port that I took out. All right, you can see it's all mangled right here. And now notice how it has this rubber piece here because it's waterproof, okay? And here is the new one that I got. And there it is. Same thing, brand new. Same connections here. It's got the same rubber waterproofing right here. Okay, the rubber seal or the rubber grommet or whatever you want to call it. We're going to try to solder this one in, and let's see what happens. Now it looks like, if I look at the side here, the actual pins are still there. I thought they broke inside the holes, but they're still there. We could have probably reused this, but that's all right. We'll put the new one in because it is a little mangled right here. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, and then here's the pins on the new one. They're pretty much the same size. So yeah, this will be a perfect fit. Okay, so let's solder this one in. All right, guys, I gotta pull this sticky stuff off here, and I tried getting it. It's real sticky, so I'm gonna put some hot air on it. Good enough. All right, so let me clean up this solder first before we put the new stuff on it. Alright guys, I cleaned it up as best as I could, and I'm going to put some new solder on there. There's little fuzzies in here from the Q-tip because it's got this sticky stuff on it. Alright, that'll be fine, I think. Alright, now these holes here are not meant to go all the way through. This thing here, okay, is not meant to go all the way through, because if you look at the bottom, okay, notice how they don't go through. Okay, that's not solder, that's just how they are. Okay, so this is supposed to just sit on top. That's why the legs are so small. Okay, let's just see if it goes in. Okay, and I was able to get it in, and you can see there's no gap on the bottom. Okay, and it's not going through the holes either. It just sits in there. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do here is put down some solder. Then I gotta heat up the board, and after I heat it up and the solder starts melting, I'm gonna stick the USB port on there. Okay, so let me set that up. That should be good right there. Let's put a little more here to hold the thing in. Okay. Maybe a little more on these pads. Okay, I think that should be good. You don't need too much solder on these things. They're so little. All right. Well, let me clean that up so I can see what we did. Yep. Looks okay. Let's put a little more here. I mean, that should be just enough solder on there to hold it, I think. So I think now I'm going to put some Kapton tape on this plastic piece here. I don't want to melt it. Okay, this plastic right here, this piece. And yeah, we'll go from there. All right, guys, I'm on around 340 with the heat. I don't want to go too hot. And let's see what happens. As soon as I see that solder melting, I'm going to put this on there. All right, guys, I think I need to go a little bit hotter. Let's try 360. There we go. Oh, come on. Here we get it. Well, it feels pretty solid. I guess we'll know when we plug it in. Well, we did damage the plastic a little bit right here. All right, but it's gonna work. Okay, guys, here's the USB port. It's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna plug it in back to the board. All right, that's there. And now I'm gonna plug this in, and as soon as I do that, we should see the charging lights come on if it's working. There we go. I see the lights. Nice. Okay, let me connect to Bluetooth real quick and play something, and then we'll put it back together. I'm connected to Bluetooth on my phone here, and I'm going to play one of my short videos. There we go. There's the volume. All right, it's fixed. I'm going to put it back together, and let's try it after it's back together, okay? Actually, let's look at the battery, because it's been plugged in for a while. We're at 2.5 bars. I'm just curious. Let's see what where the battery's at right now, because it was like 6.4 volts. Okay, so let's see here. There you go, 7.08. All right. So it was 6.4, I think, earlier, and now it's 7.08 just from being plugged in for a little. And let's see. Yep, still charging. So I'm just going to let it charge, and then I'm going to plug it in, put it back together, and plug it in. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to plug it in, and as soon as I do, we should see these charging lights come on. That means it'll be charging. Yes, there they are. All right. That means the battery's working. All right, let me connect to Bluetooth. First, I got to turn it on. Okay, it's on. Let me connect. It may have already connected. Yes, it did. Emberton 2 right there, connected for audio. Okay. So I don't get a copyright strike, I'm going to play from my last YouTube video. This is original music by me, so should be fine. It's working.